I think we are broadcasting. Yeah. All right. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining us here on Facebook as well as on the Zoom call. It's a Friday evening and you have made time to come here and discuss Krishna Katha. So that's a very good decision that you have taken. Hare Krishna, Bhaktankur. So let's get started after this brief prayer to the spiritual master. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you, dear devotees, once again. And let's get started, shall we? So which verse are we going to do today?
5.7.
5.7 for 500 points. Sukamal-dadi Mataji opened her account today. Okay, today is a very interesting verse and we will go about it. We'll spend the time here very differently from how we have been doing all these past weeks, right? Why? Because it's a very special verse. Okay, so let's see. Let me start sharing my screen here with all of you. And then with Pranam, Sattva Mataji shared the screen. So Sukumal Radhe Mataji took your 500 points today.
That's good.
She told us 5.7 is what we are doing. So that saved my life. Okay, so I was telling before you came that that we're going to handle today's verse in today's class in a very different way. I'm looking for it being very participative. So let's get started. So a little bit from the previous verses here. So what was the verse that we did last time?
5.6.
5.6, and then before that, of course, 5.5. And we had said that actually 5.4 is where I want to start. So let's go back to 5 and let's look at 5.4 because that's the beauty side, right? It was a nice one, right? Sankhya yoga prithak balaha pravadanti na panditaha ekam astita samyak ubhayor vindate phalam. So Krishna had said that only the ignorant, like who are childish, bala, they will speak of devotional service, which is karma yoga, action as Krishna consciousness, as being different from analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned, Pandita, learned, say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both, right? So from this verse, it looks like Krishna is saying that, okay, you can do this and you can do that. And that is true also, right? You can use any of the two paths to achieve Krishna, but one of the path is an easier path, one of the path is a long path, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after saying that, then he says, Yat Sankhya praptyate sthanam tad yoger apigam yate ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sapashyati. So he says that one who knows that the position reached by the analytical study can also be obtained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. So it's a very interesting thing that in the previous one, he was saying that, you are childish who make a distinction between them, right? But over here, if you see, he's starting by saying that one who knows that the position reached by the means of analytical study. So the focus here is on analytical study, which he did in the second chapter of Bhagavad-gita also, right? Where he was talking about the soul and the eternal reality of the soul and things like that. So, but here he's saying that, well, those who think, now to do analytical study, do you think it's an easy task?
No.
Right? So, and anybody can do it. You have to be a jnani. You have to be an intelligent person, right? So when people are doing analytical study, they are the jnanis, right? And so normally those kind of people who are pursuing these kind of activities like deep analytical studies and, Sankhya yoga kind of activities. So they normally will look down upon the bhaktas and they will say, well, you don't even have the intelligence. Because you don't have intelligence, that's why you do these kind of things like I will just chant or I will just cook or, I'll just take a diya and I'll show it to the Lord. You don't rake your brains. You don't rake your intellect. You don't use your intelligence. You're not doing this and that, like that, right? So normally they look down upon. So, but here, subtly in this verse, Krishna is saying, one who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service. So he's saying, all right, if you think you're the smart one and you're doing the analytical study, remember, wherever you reach, whatever cloud 9, 11, 12 you reach, then it can again attain to be devotional service also. So don't think that devotional service is anything lower. And who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, see things as they are, right? So it's kind of like casting his vote a little bit of favor and supporting devotional service. Of course, Krishna has supported devotional service throughout the Bhagavad-gita. And then the verse from last week was Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptim ayogataha yogo-yukto munir brahma na chirena digachyati. So after saying that the path of jnana and or Sankhya Yoga is the same as, will give you the same results as the path of Bhakti Yoga. Now he's now going to compare, right? So here he's saying that merely renouncing all activities, yet not engaging in devotional service of the Lord, cannot make one happy. Okay? But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay, right? So and this is what the jnanis do. They will announce everything. Neti, 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 not this, not this, not this, not this, right? So I'll give up this, I'll give up eating, I'll give up singing, everything, like give up association of people, I'll go up to the Himalayas, and I'm going to stay there, right? So Krishna is saying, like, no, just merely renouncing all these activities is not going to help you because that desire is still there. The mind will keep on nagging at you from inside. So from inside, you'll be very unhappy. So these kind of activities cannot make one very happy. But on the other hand, he's saying that a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. Right? Achirena digachyati. We read that last week, right? So he's talking. So this is the context of what we have been reading all along these past few weeks. And then now he's talking about that if you do devotional service, then what's going to happen, right? In the previous verse, he said that, okay, achirena digachyati. So he's saying, yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvann na lipyate. Okay, so I had said that today's class will be slightly different from how we have been handling it. I'm looking for participation. It's a very, very, very important verse. Okay, so I'm going to recite it 3 times. I want you to carefully listen. Okay. And put your eyes on the verse in front of you. Right? Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvann na lipyate. 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 And last time, listen carefully. Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvann na lipyate. Okay, so now I want to ask you a few questions here, right? So how did this word sound? Very sweet. It's a very sweet verse, right? It's a very, very sweet verse. Okay, now don't look. Look here on the screen, right? There was a word that was repeated quite often.
Sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
There was a word that was repeated quite often.
Ātma.
Ātma, correct, for 700 points. Right, Ātma. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call you out one by one. Right, so Parshana Mataji, first, I want you to recite the verse. Okay. It's coming up on the screen. Okay, and no need to sing it because we'll be so short of time. I want people to repeat it. So, yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Very nice.
Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api lipyate.
And what I want others to do is, like, when anybody is reciting, I want you to stay on mute and I want you to recite along with them, right? Listen to what they are speaking, but you also recite, okay? But stay on mute, okay? So Vaishana Mataji is done now. Vindhyavali Mataji?
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvan api na lipyate.
Very nice. Bhaktankur, are you in a place where you can speak or you are in office or something?
Yes, Mataji, I can.
You can read? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Hari is also there. Hari, we want to read? Okay. Go ahead. Why don't you recite?
Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvan api na lipyate.
Kurvan api na lipyate. The second line, vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ. Okay, there's aha. Okay, so very nice. So Komal Radhe Mataji.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvan api na lipyate.
Kurvan.
Kurvan api na lipyate.
Lipyate. All right. And then Sutapa.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Oh, very nice. Now let's go back again. Varshana Mataji. Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Very nice. Vindhyavali.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvan api na lipyate.
Okay, everybody close your eyes now. And starting with Komal Mataji, just give me one word that you remember from this verse. Those who, Bhūtātmā, okay. Those who go first are certainly at an advantage, okay. Ankur, do you remember any word?
Mataji, jitendriyaḥ is what I...
Jitendriyaḥ is very good. All right, Jitendriyaḥ. Okay. Vindhyavali, Mataji, do you remember any word other than Jitendriyaḥ and other than sarva-bhūtātmā?
Vijitātmā.
Vijitātmā, very nice. Okay. And then to Komal Radhe Mataji to Varshana Mataji.
viśuddhātmā.
Okay. And Sutapa Mataji?
kurvan and lipyate.
Lipyate. Okay, very good. All right, let's go again. Where did we stop? Who was the last person who recited?
Vindhyavali Mataji.
Vindhyavali. Okay, so after Vindhyavali, who goes? Varshana Mataji, is it? Ankur. Ankur.
I think, yeah. Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvan api na lipyate.
Very nice. Okay, who comes after Ankur? Remember your spot and let's go quickly. Yeah.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvan api na lipyate.
Very nice. And then who comes?
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, right? Bhūtātmā. Okay, go. Sutapa.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Okay, one more time. Let's start the round again.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvan api na lipyate.
Okay, who comes next?
Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvann api na lipyate.
Okay, who's going?
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Very nice. Who's it?
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Right. So that this word, the first word is yoga, not yog. Yoga. There's an A here, right? There's an A in this word. Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate. Okay, who's after Varshana Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Okay, one more round.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Right, and this word is viśuddha. It is not visuddh. It's a sha. There's a S with the accent there, right? The sha, viśuddha. Okay, who's next?
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvann api na lipyate.
Very nice.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Very nice.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
All right.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Very nice.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvann api na lipyate.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
Okay, thank you. Now tell me some words that come to your mind.
yoga-yukta, yoga-yukto, the first two.
jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
More.
The whole verse, the whole verse.
No, whole verse, no. You have to give me words.
kurvan api na lipyate.
kurvan api na lipyate.
Did you say that from your memory, Mataji? Vindhyavali
Yes,
Mataji?
Mataji, yes.
Both
Oh,
of you?
sorry.
See,
Yes.
so 25% of the words got memorized just by repetition. Rote repetition.
I can say
Right?
full.
yoga-yukto
Okay, so what was the first line?
yoga-yukto
yoga-yukto
viśuddhātmā
viśuddhātmā vijita-ātmā
Jitendriyaḥ
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na lipyate.
We all have become jnanis now. You're so good at memorizing it, right? So don't be intimidated. These verses are so beautiful, right? So one more time, one more round. Yeah. Till you get it, we will do it.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā
vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvan api na
kurvan
lipyate.
api na lipyate.
Okay, now what I want you all to do is like take the lead. And this is the order, right? So Sukumal, Radhe Mataji, then Sutapa. I'm just reading the order in which you appear on my screen. So Sukumal Radhe in the participant list. Sukumal Radhe, Sutapa. Remember your spot, right? Don't take other people's spot and don't lose your spot. Sukomal, Sutapa, Varshana, Vindhyavali, Ankur. Right? So how we will just keep on going round robin. So Kumal Radhe will say the first line, and if she forgets it, others can assist her. Then Vindhyavali, then Varshana Mataji. Oh, now this is going to get messed up because if somebody says my list goes back. Okay. So Sukomal is one. And then after Sukomal, I have Varshana now on my screen. So that's fine. Sukomal, Varshana, Vindhyavali, and then Ankur. And if you speak or take somebody else's spot, then you lose your points. And then Sutapa. Okay, and this goes round robin, so it doesn't matter, who's first or who's last. It's a circular thing. Right? So we'll start with Sukomal, and then Varshana, and then Vindhyavali, and then Ankur Goel, and then Sutapa. Okay? That's the order. We'll keep on going. After Sutapa, again Sukomal. Like that. So remember the one before you and the one after you. Okay, so what's the first line?
yoga-yukta viśuddhātmā.
Okay. Is it yoga-yukta or it is yoga-yukta?
Yoga-yukta viśuddhātmā.
Yeah. Yoga-yukta viśuddhātmā.
vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
Very good.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
Oh, Vindhyavali got her favorite line. Sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā. Okay. Then,
kurvann api na lipyate.
there you go. Kurvann api. Okay, now come on, continue, please.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā.
Vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
kurvann api na lipyate.
Very nice. Continue, please.
yoga-yukta viśuddhātmā.
Vijita-ātmā,
vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
kurvann api na lipyate.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā.
vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
kurvan api na lipyate.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā.
jita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
kurvan api na lipyate.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā.
vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
kurvann api na lipyate.
Should we continue, Mataji?
Please, yes.
Yeah. yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā.
Vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
Sarva, sarva-bhūtātmā.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
kurvann api na lipyate.
yoga-yukta viśuddhātmā. Sorry.
Yoga-yukta viśuddhātmā.
vijitātmā,
viśuddhātmā.
viśuddhātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
Viśuddhātmā. Viśuddhātmā.
Vijita.
vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
See, nobody can say it as well as Vindhyavali says that. That's her line.
I'm not getting it.
kurvann api na lipyate.
yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā.
vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
kurvan api na lipyate.
So you notice while we were doing all this that
viśuddhātmā.
vijita-ātmā jitendriyaḥ.
I completely lost it.
sarva.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
kurvan api na lipyate.
Okay, so I want you, if you have a paper and pencil or you have a cell phone or whatever, I want you to write 4 letters. The letter Y for yellow, the letter V for Victor or victory, and then letter S for swan, and the letter K for Krishna.
Mataji, can you repeat one more time?
It's the first letter of every verse line.
Yeah. is for V for
Keep that in front of you, right?
is for swan.
S for Swan. K for Krishna. Y-V-S-K. Y-V-S-K.
But where? Which place?
Goloka, Hari, Golok Vrindavan. Which place? Oh, Goloka. That's the place to be. Okay. Right, now that you have some prompts with you, right? So that if you forget, then there's a little prompt there. Okay, who's going to start?
I think I had to start. Yoga-yukta viśuddhātmā.
So, yoga-yukto vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
Sorry, mother.
What happened?
Kurvann api na lipyate.
Kurvan.
Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā.
Vijitātmā jitendriyaḥ.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
Sarva.
lipyate.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
kurvann lipyate.
Okay, so we'll stop here. So you notice that this this exercise actually
Okay.
forces you to listen also. You have to listen to the other person, right? Because you can't bring in yourself. It is so difficult to listen, right? But you guys do such a good job. You listen to me every week for hours altogether. So yeah. So now there was a little bit of a, I mean, you got it. It was fantastic, progress. And, but the relish is not there. Why the relish is not there? There's a little stumbling, like when I'll remember the next word, what's going to happen and things like that, right? The relish will come when you understand the meaning of the verse. Shall we?
Yes.
All righty. So let's go. What was the word that was repeated the most in this verse?
Atma.
Atma.
Ātma. Okay. So yoga-yukto. Yoga-yuktaḥ means engaged in devotional service. Are you a yoga-yuktaḥ? Anybody on this call who is a yoga-yuktaḥ? Or
We are trying to be.
we are trying to be? All right. Very good. Viśuddha-ātmā.
Purified soul.
Purified soul. Shuddh means Shuddh means purified, and Vishuddha is like even better, like it's a intensifier. So viśuddhātmā, very, very pure. And vijita-ātmā. What is? Self-control. So you have control. Okay. What have you controlled? What has the vijita-ātmā controlled?
The senses.
The senses.
Hmm?
Senses.
Okay. Park your answer, and let's look at the next sentence. Next word. What does it say? What is
All
the next?
living entity.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
No.
Jita-indriyaḥ.
Yeah, jita-indriyaḥ. What does that mean?
Conquered the senses.
Conquered the senses.
Right? Okay. Now go back to the previous verse. Previous word. Vijitātmā is
Vijita.
self-control. So what has the vijitātmā controlled?
Purified soul.
No, it has also controlled the senses and then conquered the senses, right?
How do you become what is the peak of being self-controlled? The height.
Controlling the senses.
Which sense?
Conquered the senses.
Seeing, listening.
How many senses do we have?
7
Hmm?
Five
devotional
senses.
Manaha shasthani indriyani. Manaha shasthani. Shasth means what?
Mind.
Shasth. Manaha shasthani indriyani. Manaha means mind. Shashta, Hindi. Shashta, Sanskrit. 6.
6 senses.
Yeah. So Manaha is the 6th sense. So Vijita-ātmā, he's in control. Why? Because he has controlled the mind. If you control your mind, the senses will be automatically controlled. Can you tell me something in proof of that? Lowest is the dull matter. Above the dull matter are the senses. Above the senses are the mind, right? In 3rd chapter.
Intelligent.
Yeah, right? Above the mind is intelligence, above the intelligence is the soul, above the soul is the super soul, right? Like that. So vijita-ātmā, self-control, you are self-control because you have controlled your mind.
Mind, okay.
Right? Then jita-indriyaḥ, and you have controlled the senses, the other 5. Right? And sarva-bhūta means to all living entities. Sarva, you know, sarva means all, right? And bhūta is one word for living entities.
Jivas.
Jivas, right? And then ātma-bhūta-ātmā, ātma-bhūta-ātmā, Prabhupada is translating it as compassionate. Right? Kurvann api. The word api, we all know. Api means although in Sanskrit, right? And then kurvan api, he's doing karma, he's doing some work, right? So engaged in work is kurvan, right? Some kriya is happening, he's doing some work. Now we all know is never. And lipyate is entangled. Right? So entanglement. Can you visualize entanglement? Can you give me an example of seeing entanglement in your life? Some very famous pictures that you see of entanglement. Never seen anybody entangled?
No, we are all entangled.
We are all entangled. Okay.
And there are so many things, Mataji. It's not only one.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me. So I just asked for one, then there are so many. Give me one. Why do you want to keep all of them with yourself?
Health.
Health, what is the entanglement with health? Entanglement.
Material attachments is an entanglement.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Mataji, then body is also material, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we are thinking, we cannot think every time that we are soul. So whatever is happening with our body, so how to get rid of that, how to get rid of the pain, disease, that is not entanglement?
No, that is not entanglement, that is suffering.
Oh.
Right? Pain in the body is suffering. Entanglement is different. Right? Hold on for 1 second here. Okay. Do you see this picture?
Web.
Yeah.
This is the entanglement. Not just tied, but so badly entangled, right? And if you Google, you will find so many pictures. Look at this, right? Love affairs, stock market.
And the worst is, Mataji, worst is the media. I mean, somebody sends you some, even if it is Krishna's or some some lecture or something, and the moment you finish, something else starts, and you really like to, what is happening? Let me see. Mataji, that entanglement takes away a lot of your time.
Yes. It's a well in which you fall. There's no returning. From here you click there, and from there you go there. From there you go there, and you are so far removed. And actually, that's a very important point that you bring up. As Vaisheshika Prabhu once was saying that, if you're flying from New York, there's sometimes people might be thinking that, so what's the deal? The aeroplanes are all self-driven. What's the deal? You need a pilot, right? What's the big deal? The pilots are paid so heavily and all that, right? So the thing is that they have to constantly keep, there's always a drift. There's air, right? And instruments automatically will drift. So if you're flying from Chicago to New York, and if the plane deviates by even a fraction of a degree, then you won't land in New York. Because by the time you go all the way to New York, you are so far away. Like, a small drift. Instead of going in this way, if you just drifted a little bit here, and by the time you are going in that same direction, see how far you are from your destination here. The drift is there. And this is what happens with entanglement. And they know that. They know this is what the mind is. Markatasya surapanam tasya-vrinchu-danchanam nanmadde bhutam sancharam. So it says that he's describing the mind, right? Markatasya surapanam, like that a markat is a monkey. So monkey is constantly jumping from one branch to the other branch. That's what the mind also does, from one topic to another topic without you even knowing, right? You started with something, opened the Bhagavad-gita, you read it, and while you're reading it, then the mind will connect it to something else. And from there, you are gone, so far away, drifted. Wanted to land in Golok Vrindavan, ended up in the hellish planets, because of not steering properly. So they know that. Markatasya Shurapana. So then to such a monkey, if you give him some alcohol to drink, what's going to happen to his movements, right? And then on top of that, if a scorpion comes and bites the monkey. So if a scorpion bites, very painful, so you will start jumping with pain. So already you are a creature who has got a jumping nature. And on top of that, you give them some, alcohol to make them even more, and then viśuddhātmā. And after that, a ghost comes and resides in the body. Now, ghosts can do things to your body, right? So that is the mind. That's the nature of the mind. So these advertising companies will know that. They know that. But we also know that the senses need some engagement. So artificially trying to stop the senses from doing whatever they are supposed to do is not going to give you good results. Right?
Buying a lottery ticket is also entanglement, because when first time you're in use, then again you want to buy. Okay, let's try my luck this time. Maybe we will win. So,
of course, there has to be entanglement. The very fact that companies have such huge lottery prize, right? 2 million jackpot, 250 million, all those kind of jackpots, right? So they give away these jackpot prizes. So you can imagine how much they earn, right? For the business to survive, business has to make profits, right? And out of their profits, if they're easily giving away, like out of the earning, if they're easily giving away a jackpot, then this means they're earning certainly more than that, right? I mean, I was talking to somebody who was very fond of, bets and gambling and all those kinds of speculative things. And he was like, oh yeah, Las Vegas, oh yeah, you can make money in Las Vegas. And I said, no, if flights to Las Vegas are very cheap. Food in Las Vegas is very cheap. Hotel rooms in Las Vegas are very cheap. And in every hotel room, almost every hotel room, there is a casino below. So where do you think the hotel is making the money?
Casino.
From the casino. And if the hotel is making money from the casino, this means people are giving money. People are losing their money. Despite the fact we don't do that math and the probability. Everybody thinks I'm going to win. I'm not going to lose. He's going to lose the next one. And then we put our bet there, and then slowly we are also join that other bandwagon where we have lost everything, like that, right? So, okay, who remembers the verse?
Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā.
Very good.
Vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā,
kurvan lipyate.
Okay, close your eyes and repeat.
Sorry.
Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ,
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā,
kurvan lipyate. Very nice. Okay, so let's go back to our words here and then go a little bit more into what Prabhupada has to tell us about the words. Okay, so yoga-yukta means?
Engaged in devotional service.
Okay, and viśuddhātmā means?
purified soul.
And vijita-ātmā means?
Self-control.
Self-control.
What has he controlled? What has he controlled?
The mind.
Yeah.
The mind. Vijit means? Jit means?
Victory kind
Victory.
of.
So one who has gained victory over the mind, right? Vijitātmā. So you see, in the second word, viśuddha-ātmā, and in the second word, jita-ātmā, vijitātmā, right? So what is the meaning of the word Atma in the first? And what is the meaning of Atma in the second?
The first one, it really means a soul.
Really means a soul, yeah. And second one?
It's the mind, actually.
It's the mind, right? So the word Atma is used for soul. It's used for mind, okay? Okay. Jitendriyaḥ. So, right? Jit means?
Conquered.
And Indriya means?
Senses,
right? Okay. Then we have sarva-bhūta, right? What's the meaning of sarva-bhūta? What's the meaning of sarva?
All.
Okay. And
Sarva, all living entities, jivas.
Right. And ātma-bhūta-ātmā. Ātma-bhūta-ātmā is
Compassionate.
compassionate. So you see, very different meaning. Very different meaning, right? Okay. Then kurvan?
Although
No.
No. Kurvan is a work.
Engaged.
Engaged in work.
Work. And api
What
is
is-
although.
Api is although, right? Yeah. Api. Api chet
engaged in
suduracharo bhajte maam ananya bhak, right? Api chet. So kurvan api, although engaged in work, right? Okay. Na means
No,
Never.
not.
lipyate means
Entangled.
entangled. Okay, right. So now read this verse. Just have a moment of silence. Just read this verse, without speaking it. But now that you know the meaning, right? So with every sentence, look at the meaning. Try to go the meaning in your head. Yoga-yukto, viśuddhātmā. Okay, what does it mean?
One who is engaged in devotional service.
No, not one who is engaged in service. The whole sentence.
engaged in devotional service.
No, a purified soul.
A purified soul engaged in devotional service.
Perfect for 1,000 points. Yes. Okay. What's the next line? Vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ.
He has
Having-
conquered the mind and the senses.
Yes. Having conquered the mind and senses, then what happens? Sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā. Then what happens?
He is compassionate to all living,
All living entities.
Right?
even though he is engaged in working.
No. He's compassionate to everybody, even though no. Even though is not coming together with the compassionate, right? Compassionate thing is coming with the first three lines are together. It says that one who is engaged in devotional service, a purified soul who is engaged in devotional service, right, has conquered his mind and his senses, and he is compassionate to all the living entities, right? That's one statement. And the next statement here is kurvan api na lipyate. Now tell me, what's the next statement?
Although engaged in work, never entangled, although he is engaged in work.
Yes, let's put it in plain English.
He is
Simple.
always, even though he is working, he is never entangled.
Yes, he's never entangled, even though he's working, right? Kurvan api na lipyate. Right? So now you see, when you look at the word and you understand the meaning nicely, and then yoga-yukto, viśuddhātmā. So now you can imagine a viśuddha-ātmā doing devotional service. You can think of Radharani or Tulsi, right? Then vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ. He has controlled the mind and controlled the senses. Sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā. So he's very compassionate to all the living entities. Can you give me examples of people who are compassionate to the living entities?
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, exactly right. Kurvan api na lipyate, even without they are doing it, but they are not entangled in that work. Right? Why? Because it's a purified soul, engaged in devotional service. So no matter what they're doing. So let's look at translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Right? So there he's translating it as compassionate, but when you are compassionate to others are also the people like you, right? As how Vaisheshika Prabhu says that if you should be in the mood of service, you should be always in the mood of giving service. And if you are in the mood of service, everybody likes you. You go to a party, and if they know that this is the one who does the dishes after the party is over, they love you. They're happy that you have come. Right? When you are in that mood. So similarly, if you are compassionate to other living entities, then they will love you because you're compassionate, right? So sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā is that verse, right? So let's just continue and welcome Jaya Mataji. So happy to have you here. And Namaste Jaya Mataji. All right. So Prabhupada is saying that one who is in the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is dear to him. Why? This is due to his Krishna consciousness. Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna, just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree. He knows very well that by pouring water on the roof of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and branches, or by supplying food to the stomach, the energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all, he is very dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his birth, he is pure in consciousness. Because he is in pure consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, his senses are also controlled. Because his mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of his being deviated from Krishna. Nor is there a chance that he will engage his senses in matters other than the service of the Lord. He does not like to hear anything except topics relating to Krishna. He does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. He does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled. A man of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anyone. One may ask, why then was Arjuna offensive in battle to others? Wasn't he in Krishna consciousness? Arjuna was only superficially offensive because, as has already been explained in 2nd chapter, all the assembled persons on the battlefield would continue to live individually, as the soul cannot be slain. So spiritually, no one was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only their dress was changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present. Therefore, Arjuna, while fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was not really fighting at all. He was simply carrying out the orders of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. Such a person is never entangled in the reactions of work. What's the Sanskrit for entangled?
Lipyate.
Lipyate. Lipyate na sapapena padmam pushpam himam vasau. Okay. So they give the example. The lipyate means that you are entangled, and you can get entangled very, very badly in life, right? So like there's a man, he's living his life cool, brahmachari. And then one day his eyes fall on a Mataji. And then he gets, oh, Varshana Mataji is smiling. And then he gets married, right?
Vishwamitra. I was just remembering Vishwamitra.
Yeah,
a pious soul, and suddenly.
Right. So, so he might just think that what's the big deal? You know, it's a wife. You know, I'll bring the wife, and then the wife comes, and then wife comes with a brother. Good for nothing fellow, and now you have to establish him in life. And then the wife has got this, wife has got that, wife has got sisters. You have to marry them off. Entanglement, how do you earn money now? So you take to dubious means. And when you take to dubious means, you meet dubious people. Those dubious people will make you do more dubious work. like that, right? And in the end, when you die, even your wife doesn't go with you, for whom you spent your whole life, right? So this is the fact of life. So we have to do viśuddha-ātmā, vijita-indriyaḥ, to control the senses. And we see in the nectar of instruction, vacho vegam, udarapastu vegam, jivya vegam, right? Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jivya vegam, udarapastu vegam, etan vegan jo vishahetu dhira sarvam apimam prithvim sasichat. So he says, vacho vegam. What is vacho vegam? What is veg? Veg.
Veg is actually the speed, the pain, but
okay, one at a time.
Control the urge of speak. Urge to
Vague.
speak.
What is vague? What is vague?
Urge.
Urge. Yeah, vague is urge. It's the force. Vacho means what, Varshana?
the vacho is to speak, Mataji.
Speak, right. So vacho vegam is the urge to speak. Did you ever feel the urge to speak?
Yes, Mataji.
Did you ever felt that mind telling you don't say this and then you still said it?
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
That's vacho vegam.
Panna le liya.
You're right. Yeah? As if your tongue has a mind of its own. Even though you're trying to control. That is how, so he's saying vacho vegam. Manasa krodha vegam. The urges of the mind. Do you think your mind ever urges you?
Always.
Always. Okay. Thank you. I thought I was the only one. Manasa. Then krodha vegam.
Anger.
Urge of anger. Have you seen the effect of anger?
Yes.
My God.
Right? There's a poem. Yeah, there's a poem that describes Arjun's anger when he hears the news that Abhimanyu is killed, right? It's in Hindi, so I don't think everybody will be able to relish it, but nevertheless, I'll speak it. Just enjoy. If you don't understand the language, just enjoy the tune or the, rhythm, right? उस काल मारे क्रोध के तनु कांपने उनका लगा, मानो हवा के जोर से सोता हुआ सागर जगा। मुख आप उनके काल सा क्रोधित हुआ, प्रलयात उनके विष यहाँ क्या काल ही क्रोधित हुआ. So he's saying, right? He was so angry that his face became red. How much red? As a rising sun. The krodh vegam, the urge and the force can force the blood through your arteries and so forcefully that it comes to the surface and the face becomes red. Like that, right? So that is anger, the force of anger. And anger is a wasted emotion because it only affects you. And why I'm emphasizing on anger is that because if you're doing progress in devotional service, you gain some spiritual credits, sukriti. You have a bank balance of sukriti. And if you engage in anger, if you have a burst of anger, then your spiritual bank balance goes down. So it's very important for us not to be angry, even if you're alone. Have you ever been angry when you're alone?
Yes,
Okay, be honest with me.
Yeah, of course.
Have you ever kicked a chair?
No.
Or banged your, while you're all alone.
Never kicked a chair, but I have hit my head many a times.
There you go. Right? Or we are in the kitchen, got angry, take something and it goes down, right?
दांत भी ऐसा कर देते हैं.
दांत भी पीसते हैं. Yeah, so these are all impacts of the anger. Right? Just give me 1 second. Oh, gosh.
But what will happen, Mataji, if the anger comes, if we want to tell something that particular person for whom we got angry, then how do we manage that?
The question is, why do you have to tell? The main question is, why do you have to tell?
Because sometimes, Mataji, if a person keeps doing the same thing again and again and again, and you told like first time, don't do this, but your words hurt me. But still the person did not understand and still he got angry or she got angry and keeps telling or behave same time and same behavior every time. So
then after becoming angry, they became all right.
Mother, may I answer this question?
Let her first answer this question.
Sorry, Mataji, I did not understand. Can you please tell
my question was, somebody is behaving badly. And then you are saying that, I have to tell them, I have to get angry at them. Yes. And, and then you got angry. Yeah, you get angry. Then after that, they are perfect behavior.
I don't think so.
So then what's the point? That's the point. What's the point?
That's what I'm saying. Unless she tells them and she knows that they are not changing,
we are talking about,
she will know, right?
We are talking about anger. We are not talking about telling. Oh. See, the urge. We are talking about Vega. I'm not saying you should not tell. I'm just saying how you should tell.
But Mataji, then you should have I don't know, the tolerance level should be very, very high.
Yes, yes.
So,
Mother, immediately in my mind comes, it is beyond me. Leave it. Don't waste your time and your energy.
That's true. There's no point. You say
Mataji, our own expectation keep getting changing. I think mostly in my case, I modify my own expectation after number of reminder if it doesn't work. Yeah,
that's a very good point that you bring in. Do you think the anger came in the first place because of some expectation hidden somewhere?
Yes, Mataji, because we expect the other person will behave properly, or what we are doing, they will also do the same way. Means they will reciprocate, but it's not happening.
Right. It's not happening. You get anger, and then after being angry also, it doesn't help. right? So then in the third chapter, in the third canto, when Kapil Muni is telling to his mother Devahuti, he says, Titikshava karunaikaha suhrida sarva-bhūtānām ajata shatrava shantaha sadhava sadhu bhushana. Titikshava means tolerate. Martha sparshastu konteya shitosham sukha dukkada agam apaniyo anityastam titikshasva bharata. So Krishna tells Arjuna in the second chapter of Bhagavad-gita, he says that Martha sparshastu konteya. It's very nice. Matra is our senses. Right? Martha sparshas, when they come in contact with the objects, right? Because of your senses coming in contact of the object, you get all kinds of reactions in your head. That's why you feel happy and distressed, right? If your skin goes and touches a hot iron coal, red hot coal, right? You will be unhappy. If it's very hot and then you put your hand in an ice bucket, you'll feel very nice. Why? Your senses are getting in contact with the object of the senses, right? Because of that, you feel heat and cold, happiness and distress. But he says, Agam apanyo anityas. These will come and go as some seasons also come and go. Nam titikshasva bharata. So just tolerate them. And tolerating is a practice. It doesn't come to us naturally because we are controllers. Why should we tolerate? Right? It is a practice. And and it comes with age also. And experience. There's nothing that can replace experience. Self-experience. Right? So when we're young and inexperienced, we might say, okay, if I say this is going to happen, say that's going to happen, and we burst out in an anger and get lost, and sometimes what happens is that this hidden inner resentment is with those who are very close with, because the expectation is there, right? And so we should just learn to tolerate them, because the moment you speak something, it cannot be put back, right? A bullet that comes out of the gun is come out of the gun. The words that have come out of your mouth have come out of the mouth. You cannot put them back. And they will enter into the ear of a person and they will vibrate there forever. Sound vibrations don't die, right? So we have to learn to tolerate. And that's why this verse is a very powerful verse. Viśuddhātmā, jitendriyaḥ, right? You have conquered all the senses. So, vācyo vegam, manasa krodha vegam, right? Jivha vegam. Jivha is what?
Tongue.
Tongue. The urge of the tongue. So, what are the urges of the tongue?
Taste.
To speak and to taste.
To speak and to taste, right? Both. To speak and to taste, right? So, manasa krodha vegam, urges of the mind. Urges of the mind will tell you sit down to chant, and the mind will take, let's open the television, let's see what is the news. Right? Mind will keep on telling. Mind is the worst thing. So manasa krodha vegam, jivya vegam, udaro pasta vegam. Udar means the stomach, right? So stomach wants food, right? Udara pasta. And then anything below the stomach is the genitals, urges of the genitals, right? So like that. And Prabhupada points out that these in your body are aligned in a line.
Yeah.
If you control this, anything below will get controlled. If you eat too much, then other things below the stomach get affected by that, right? That is why there's movie and dinner, and then after that it is like your house or my house, like that. See, so that is what udara pasta vegam, jivya vegam. So one who has conquered this is the only one who is capable of becoming a guru, is capable of teaching others. Otherwise, all of us are just learners, like that. So these urges are there. And then I'd like to just remind all of you of a nice verse that we did some time ago. And it is our Vidyavali Mataji's favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Vidyavali Mataji, do you remember? Does anybody remember this word?
Patanga brings.
So kuranga matanga patanga bhringa meena hata pancha bhireva pancha eka pramadi sa katham na hanyate yasevate panchabhi eva pancha. So kurang is the deer. So the deer is a person. So how do people catch a deer? They will play some music. They play some music and the deer gets mesmerized, stuck at one place. Nice. They will play some nice drums or mridangam or something like that. And they are stuck and then they will, pierce an arrow. And so the deer, and it is said that when the deer dies, it is like, oh, I'm dying and I wish my skin gets used to make the mridangam, which was sounding so nicely. That's the thought, right? So kuranga, the deer, by the urges of his ear. Matanga is the elephant. So elephant by the urge of the genitals, which is basically skin, right? So how do they catch an elephant? They will dig a big pit. Inside the pit, they will put a female elephant. And the female elephant will make a noise and the male elephant will get attracted and jump into the pit and now cannot come out, right? Talk about entanglement. And it gets caught. Patanga, the moth, by the urges of the eyes, right? So patanga sees a very bright fire and then it gets attracted to it and falls into the fire and dies. Bhringa is the bee. No, bhringa is the bee, right? So by the urge of the nose to smell wildflowers. So how does a bhringa get affected by that? So when the lotus flower is blooming, right? It blooms in the day and it closes in the night. So when the lotus flower is blooming, it will go inside, likes the smell, likes the pollen, likes everything and go inside. And it is now sunset. The flower is going to close, but it is so immersed in enjoying whatever is being there that it will stay there and the flower will close and the bee will suffocate to death inside the flower, right? Meena is the fish. And fish driven by the urge of the tongue, right? So we put a bait, right, with a little worm on it, and then he sees the worm, oh, I want to eat it, and the bait gets stuck at the fish's mouth, and then you pull the fish out of the water, and that's it. That's the end of fish life. So he's saying that all of these, they meet the end of the life in their futile attempts to satisfy just one sense. The deer, just one. Matanga, just one sense. Patanga, just one sense. Bhringa, one sense. Meena, one sense, right? So he says, just see, attachment to just one sense costs someone so greatly. What about a person who has got 5 powerful sense organs? So can you imagine how difficult it is? So now in this verse, we are talking about what has this person done? What has this viśuddha-ātmā done?
He has controlled his mind and senses.
Yes, I want you to speak Sanskrit.
Oh.
Jitendriyaḥ.
Jitendriyaḥ.
Jitendriyaḥ, right? So don't think that jitendriyaḥ is a very easy thing. Vishwamitra thought he was doing it, but then one little ankle bell. And that's it.
Mataji, that sloka, where is this from? Matanga Patanga.
It is on nityasankirtan.com. And I don't know, it's from one of the Puranas, but I don't know which one it is. I also tried to search where it is, but couldn't find it. Kuranga matanga patanga bhringa meena hata pancha bhireva pancha eka pramadi sa katham na hanyate yasevate panchabhi eva panchaha. Okay, so this is about, so now going back to a verse from today, there's a few more things I wanted to point out. So na lipyate. So obviously this is Bhagavad-gita. So our Arjun is confused. He doesn't want to kill, right? Those of you who are watching us, those of you who are watching the Sunday program where we are doing chapter 2 of Bhagavad-gita, right? And we did, Varshana Mataji, you couldn't make it, but we did one where he's saying that, how do I kill my teachers? And if I kill them, my hands will be tainted with blood. Right? So he's talking about, killing. So he's worried that by killing these people who are his relatives, his teachers, etc., he will be involved. He will be lipyate, entangled, right? Lipatana comes from lipyate in Sanskrit. So he's saying, how can I do that? But here in this verse, Krishna is saying that, and Prabhupada is explaining that no, even if he kills them, he's not doing, and he won't be entangled. Why? Because he's doing it for Krishna. What you do for Krishna is devotional service to the Lord, right? So he explains that in this verse. So continuing on further into the verse here. Now, how does he control the sense? Now, that was a question that Sutapa Mataji asked, right? So then how do I control this urge? How do I control when somebody is doing? So artificially, trying to think that, okay, on April 14th, I attended a class and they talked in that class that you should control your senses because, look at all this, Batanga, Mitanga, Bhinga, Meena, all these people just by one sense, they did that. And I should, try to control my senses. It's not going to happen. Senses do not get controlled by trying to control them. They're like kids, right? So the only way to control the senses is to engage them in devotional service. That's the only way they'll be under control.
Devotional service.
Try to do devotional activities. And one of the things that the acharyas tell us is that when your mind is doing and urging you to do something very bad, and your mind is going here and there, just pick up a book, Bhagavad-gita, just start reading a shloka, right? So it is like, material energy is trying to implicate you, trying to entangle you, and then you're going and you're taking refuge and you're taking shelter someplace else. It's like, somebody is trying to heat you, the material energy, and you're plunging yourself in cold water, right? To get away from that heat. So transcendental activities have got that kind of effect on calming down their senses. Actually, in our Shastras, they are said, and I don't remember the verse, but it says that they become like serpents with no teeth. Your senses will become like serpents with no teeth. What will a serpent with no teeth do, right? Nothing like that, right? So, this is very important that, the Mayavadis, they keep on thinking that, I'll do this, I'll do that, and, I'll rake my brains and I'll find out. And we read in the previous verses that by doing that, at the most that they can do is they can go to the light. They can get attached to they go and hang in the effulgence of the Lord, and that's it. After some time, they fall down. And because they had tendency to do activities, philanthropic, they will just come back and do the same thing and go back again, and then come down again, go back again. And that's what they're saying. Brahmane bhramite kaun bhagyavan jeev, Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata beej. So when a person, a jiva soul, when who is doing Brahman, he's going up and down, up and down. Brahman means I'm out on an excursion. Brahman. Where are you doing Brahman? Oh, no, not in the park. I'm actually going from one planet to another planet. I'm the big excursionist, and I'm doing that. And so he's saying that you can go to Brahma-jyoti also, and then come back again, and go back again to Brahma-jyoti. And in the meanwhile, you can do other things also. You can have a side track, detour, right? I want to see this, I want to see that. You can do a detour also. So don't get into the detour mode. Focus your attention on the Golok Vrindavan planet, right? So Vindhyavali Mataji, you raised your hand.
Yes, Mataji, I want that sloka with that thing from Mataji after class.
It's on nityasankirtan.com.
It can come? Okay.
Nitya Sankirtan, yeah, my website.
Okay.
Yeah. You can ask on the WhatsApp chat, somebody will give it to you. Okay, so now let's look at the verse again a little bit more, okay? So what was the famous word that Vindhyavali Mataji liked in this verse? What was her favorite word?
Sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā.
Sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā. Okay, can you all recite the verse to me here?
Yes.
Yoga-yukto,
Yoga-yukto,
viśuddha-ātmā, vijita-ātmā,
Jitendriyaḥ.
jitendriyaḥ,
sarva-bhūta-bhūtātmā,
kurvan
lipyate.
Right. So isn't it such a nice thing? So when you memorize these verses, what happens is that your mind has got this memory that will go into the memory, and you'll find that, tomorrow you'll find that you are saying, then the mind is going like Bhūtātmā, Bhūtātmā. You wake up in the night, you say it's going Bhūtātmā, Bhūtātmā.
I always get that.
Right. It goes, yeah, this is like that, right? So, okay, so you got it, right? So in a span of 1.5 hours, you got one verse nailed down. That's very good. It's worth the money, isn't it?
More than.
All right. So now let's look at sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā. What was the bhūtātma-bhūtātmā? What was it translated as?
Compassionate and living.
Compassionate, right? Ātma-bhūta. Yeah. So he had said sarva-bhūta meant to all living entities. And I had actually put this down here because I wanted you to all look at this. So can you see what do you see? Do you still see the word?
Synonyms.
Okay. Do you see white color?
No.
You don't see.
No.
Okay, let me stop it and let me share.
Color, black color.
Black only? Okay, here. Now?
Red is black. Red is
Yes.
Now you see white. Okay. So which verse is this?
Same one.
What's the number?
5.7.
5.7. Okay. Just a test. Okay. So synonyms here. So Prabhupada, now there are two ways of looking at it, right? So Prabhupada is using sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, right? So this sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā can be interpreted in different ways. The sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, sarva-bhūt, this is how Prabhupada is saying, sarva-bhūt means to all living entities, and ātma-bhūta-ātmā means compassionate, right? So, and then the same thing, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā is also broken down like this, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā. You see, Prabhupada had said sarva-bhūt means all living entities, and ātma-bhūta-ātmā is compassionate, right? So when you combine these two words, it becomes sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā. Whereas the Mayavadis will translate that into sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā. So sarva-bhūtātmā means soul, and bhūtātmā means soul. So soul of all souls. So Mayavadis are going to say that, you know, if you are engaged in devotional service, yeah, you sing Krishna bhajan, you sing Shiva bhajan, you Ganesha bhajan, and Agni bhajan, and Surya bhajan, and all that. You do that. You do that devotional service, right? And you purify the soul. I don't eat meat. I don't gamble. I don't do this. I don't do that, right? You control your mind. Yeah, I have Mohan Vrata. I meditate and all that, right? And jitendriyaḥ. Yes, I have conquered all my senses. I, don't do the 4 regulative principles. And, I don't see nonsense things. I don't talk nonsense. I don't hear nonsense. All that I have done, right? So once you do that, what's going to happen? You will become the soul of all souls. Now, who is the soul of all souls?
Krishna.
Krishna. So Mayavadis are saying that you will become Krishna.
Yeah.
By doing that, right? And that is something that you have to watch out for. Sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā here basically means that you have to be compassionate. Okay? So we'll stop here.
Are we going to stop?
And take some reflections or questions. Anything that you're taking away from today's class? Reflections?
Shloka, we're taking away.
You're taking away shloka. And what number is that?
We remember.
5.7.
5.1?
7.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
Controlling senses.
Okay.
I agree with Namasya Mataji.
Entanglement, Mataji.
Yeah, you are taking away entanglement. That's something that we have to be careful about, right?
Mataji, jitendriyaḥ. Yes, so you win over your senses.
Mataji, sometimes sorry.
Yeah, Ankur, go ahead.
No, Mataji, I just wanted to share one thing I learned from one of Gurudev's lectures way back. The entanglement, like he gave a very good way, one very good way to actually not get entangled. Like if your mind is troubling you for some desire and everything, he said defer it, like delay it, and you can keep delaying. It's like, yeah, I will do it, and I will do it, and the time will pass by, and as the time passes by, the forgetfulness comes in, and you will forget it. And
yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah.
I tried that. I'm not good at it, I would admit it, but sometimes it really helps.
it works. Yeah, it works. Even if you do a little bit, it remembers. And this is such an interesting thing that the Shastras have told us. Because I remember, when we were young and we had to memorize poems and all that, I used to be very bad at doing that. I used to be agonized at how do I remember all this and all that. And then the technique is repetition, rote. So what that does mean? What that means is that rectification doesn't mean that you sit down here, you have to recite it 50 times like we did today. Right? I mean, okay, fine. That is one way to remember it. And then you will get instant results. But even if you repeat it once today, and then second time tomorrow, and the third time day after, it will start staying in your memory. It's all about practice. So similarly, if you practice procrastination for a good cause, once, you fail, doesn't matter. But that algorithm is building in your mind. And next time you do it, then the algorithm is becoming stronger, right? How you do data science, right? That's how it's happening in your mind. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Sutapa, yeah, thank you. Sutapa, who was trying to say something? Sutapa, was it you?
Yes, Mataji, but Ankur Prabhu gave me
Told
the
your thoughts?
yes. No. He gave the answer. I just wanted to ask the same thing.
Same question, procrastinate. Yeah, procrastinate. Engage yourself in the Lord. Another thing that you can do is start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And I think I have told you this example that I had a boss who was very temperamental, I should say. And she would not listen. She once came to my office room. And my office room had a glass door, so everybody could see from outside. And outside my office door were a lot of people sitting on open texts, so they could clearly see what is happening inside. And then she had a different way of approaching things, and I had a very different and customer-centric approach. So there was something that came, and I took a decision based on how much money the customer was bringing us and all that. I took some decision to do something for that customer, and she was very unhappy. And so she was so angry. She was shouting at the top of her voice in my room. And she had those, mechanical pencils that you go tick, 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 and that writing, the lead comes out and write. And she broke it so many times just from anger, like that. She was so angry. And I had never seen anybody get so angry for such a thing as doing customer service, right? And her anger was, why did you not consult me? But anyway, she was getting so angry and I had no idea what to do. So I just started chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in my mind. She just kept quiet. But you will not believe, after a tirade of words and all that she did. And I was just thinking, what are the people outside going to think? What's happening inside this room? And then afterwards, she said, and then she understood my point. And then she stood up to leave my room and she opened the door. And as she stepped out, and that's where the grapevine begins, right? The corridor. She's the corridor. And from the corridor, she shouts and she says, "Good work." I was amazed that how could a person who was breaking her pencil in the room could go outside of the room and say like that. So I was like, oh, I did not know that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so powerful. It does that. So I came home and I told my husband that, oh, this thing happened to me today. And so he said, I always do that. So
what did he say?
I always do that. That he also apparently had bosses who shout, or customers come and shout. And then he said, I always do that. It always has effect. So Tapavataji, yeah. It's like, when you get touched, and Prabhupada always gives that example that if you're an iron rod and if you're in touch with fire, after some time, you will get the qualities of the fire because you are in touch. So similarly, if you are in touch with the transcendental through the Mahamantra, right, then you will become transcendental. And when you're transcendental, then these material things will not affect you. Like that. You're welcome.
Nice class, Mataji. Actually, thank you, Mataji.
Sleeping time, Sutapa's sleeping time. I think we all should sleep on Sutapa's time.
If you are around 10, then it will subside a little bit.
Right.
There we don't know what we talk and how we.
Yeah. Sometimes they say that, we should always count till 4 before we speak. Especially in a situation like this when you have to react to somebody.
If we say 2 words, they will say 4 words. Then if we say 4 words, then it will increase like that. If both will be angry.
Yeah. It is better to put the water in a fire than put fuel. Don't put fuel to the fire.
Thank you very much, Vashana Mataji. Whatever you sent it just now. She sent you. Matanga. I love that.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice class, Mataji. Today we learned that sloka. And
Mataji, I'll request Mataji, make us learn the important shlokas like this. Mataji.
Prabhupada, get the Prabhupada sloka book.
I have, Mataji, but there are too many of them, Mataji.
Doesn't matter.
And the second, I reached, I was counting from first, there are not many. Second chapter,
Why are you
It
counting?
reached 55.
Why are you
55
counting?
it
Why are you counting?
Mataji, I'll die before that.
So does it matter?
Remembering that, Mataji, I don't know. Just
Does
I
it
feel
matter?
like I
If it
already got
does it
it.
matter?
You ask me next class, I don't know whether I can remember this or not.
See,
And
Krishna
it's-
Krishna is not going to see how many verses you remember. It's not like after we die, Chitragupta is going to come and say, okay, now Vaishana Mataji, recite chapter 12 of Bhagavad-gita. That's not going to happen. Right? What they are looking for is Vacho Vegam, Manasakoda Vegam, Jivya Vegam, Uttaropast Vegam. How much did we control these things? And how much we were sarva-bhūtātma, bhūtātma. Compassionate.
I have, after coming into Krishna consciousness, and before also, but after coming to Krishna consciousness, I have real control over my anger. I really don't get angry. Touch wood. With God's grace.
You should share
He's
notes with
always-
Sutapa. Yeah. Share notes with Sutapa. She was asking that question today, right?
yeah, anger
Thank
is
you, Mataji. Very nice class. I think I joined after a long, but every time I come, even if it's a first class, I'll always find something relevant, which is going on and very useful.
That's Krishna Katha. Yeah, that's how Krishna Katha is. And
Yeah.
devotees, Association of Exalted Devotees. I'm just so happy that you could make time and come here today.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's always feel great. I mean, to be part of this class.
There you go.
lot of things to
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Any other last thoughts and reflections?
anger.
Mataji, I sat down.
Anger,
and
anger.
while
Okay,
you were
now
talking,
you're
I wrote down.
What?
I wrote down the shloka today
There you go.
without looking at the book.
There you go. There you go. So don't think that life is short or this and that. Just focus on the shloka. Little mind will come and tell you
No,
all kinds of things.
Mataji, this shloka was easier. That's fine. And you made us learn.
Okay, we'll ask tomorrow whether it was an easy shloka or not. Yeah. So krodha, krodha, krodha. So on krodha, I have to. I'll just pass on a happy note. And first, I'll have to lay the context for Namasya Mataji. So Namasya Mataji, in India, people drink tea a lot, and they will put the tea leaves and milk and sugar in a saucepan, water, milk, and they will boil it. And when they're boiling it, they will also add condiments like cardamoms, cloves, and those kind of things. They also take ginger, and so they will take a ginger in a mortar and pestle, and they will crush the ginger, and then they will put the ginger and boil. So normally wives get up in the morning, and the first thing they will do is boil tea like this, and then give it to the husband like that. So here's something that somebody sent me, and that is that married men, they don't read the forecast for the day. You know how people have a forecast for the day, how your day is going to be. Capricornians, you're going to have a windfall. Aries, you're going to have health issues like that. They keep on telling every day, today is going to happen. Today morning is good. Afternoon is slightly bad. Evening it gets better. So people go and read it, right? And then they think, right? So anyway, so they're saying that married men don't read that forecast, the daily forecast, to decipher or to know how the day is going to be, right? Just by tuning and hearing and listening to the intensity with which the wife is pounding the ginger in the mortar and pestle, they know how the day is going to be.
Really, I never knew this.
That's true.
I never heard of it.
Angry wife, cut.
उसमें चढ़ जाना है उनको.
Yes. The wife is angry, she will krodh.
Oh.
Wasted anger. Like that, yeah. I'm just kidding. Okay. So have a fantastic weekend, dear Matajis and dear Prabhu. We will see you again on Sunday, some of you, and if Krishna willing, we will meet on next Friday again and continue this fantastic chapter 5.
You're giving the sloka usually, no?
Sorry?
Sunday, always you're giving one sloka.
Always
So
we're doing
that way
shloka.
we are learning. That way we are learning. But Like
Yep.
this today, it's fantastic. It's very
Thank you, Shraddha Mataji.
sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvann api na lipyate yoga-yukto viśuddha-ātmā
vijitātmā,
Vijita-ātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā,
kurvan api na lipyate.
lipyate vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha gopremanande hari hari
Hari Hari
bol.
Bol.
Dandar pranams.